Amandla awethu. Siyabonga kakhulu inkomo ikhensile ra Leboga. Thank you very much, Program Director, who is a member of the National High Command, Commander Luda Libelo. We want to take this opportunity first to greet our President in absentia, President Jacob Gedleyihlekisa Mhlanganyela Zuma, and send our birthday wishes on behalf of the entire organization Umkhonto weSizwe and on behalf of majority of voters in the people and the Republic of South Africa. Because Umkhonto weSizwe represents majority of people and majority of voters in South Africa. We will of course illustrate that with the process that we're engaged in the courts of law, but also we're going to decisively illustrate that Umkhonto weSizwe represents majority of the people in South Africa when we go to the 2026 local government elections and the 2029 general elections, where Umkhonto weSizwe is going to record a decisive victory. We want to greet the ex-combatants, military veterans of Umkhonto weSizwe, the Liberation Army, of the forces that come from APLA, and all the military veterans from all the fighting forces that fought for total freedom and emancipation. We want to greet the leadership of Umkhonto weSizwe Women's League, which in terms of the program that was adopted by the National High Command is supposed to launch in August 2025. It's led here by the National Coordinator Lindiwe Mchali. Umkhonto weSizwe Youth League is currently holding a program in Kwamashu in eThekwini. The leadership, majority of them are there, but we've got the leadership of the province here with us. Umkhonto weSizwe Students Movement, which is the fastest growing student movement in South Africa today, and winning majority of the students' representative councils that are taking place. We want to greet the leadership of Manda Ashu Workers Union of South Africa. So MAUSA is a union that organizes workers, mostly those who work in the expanded public works program, the EPWP. So if you are a worker in EPWP, even if that job was given to you by councillors of other parties, you must know that there is the largest union that represents workers in EPWP, and it's called MAUSA. It's associated with Umkhonto weSizwe. We also want to acknowledge Umkhonto weSizwe people with disabilities. So Umkhonto weSizwe National High Command, as part of building Umkhonto weSizwe as a revolutionary movement, we have decided and resolved to constitute a desk that is going to have presence at ward level, at sub-regional level, regional level, provincial level, and have independent national leadership to specifically look on issues of people with disabilities. So we have a structure of people with disabilities. We also want to acknowledge the leadership of the Progressive Civics Congress, PCC. So PCC is not a political party, it's a civic organization. It's a civic organization that must be bigger than SANCO. You must take note, leadership of PCC, that was saying it must be bigger than SANCO. PCC must exist in each and every village, in each and every township, in each and every informal settlement. and it must deal with civic issues. PCC must not be associated with wrong elements in Mkhonto weSizwe. It must be a civic organization that deal with issues of the communities. We also want to acknowledge all the leadership structures of Mkhonto weSizwe, members of parliament in the National Assembly, as Comrade Des and the Chief Whip are here, but also the leadership that is deployed in the provincial legislature here in the Gauteng province. And we want to greet the many councillors that continue to grow of Mkhonto weSizwe, that before we even participate in local government and government elections, every time there's a Wednesday of by-elections, you are quite assured and guaranteed that Mkhonto weSizwe is going to come with 1 or 2 councillors. As we said, before 2026, Mkhonto weSizwe will be having a higher number of councillors, ward councillors, than political parties that contested the 2021 local government elections. We also want to greet abafundisi, those who are organized under the Mkhonto weSizwe interreligious movement, but also those who are members of Mkhonto weSizwe in their own right. Because we have got an organization in Mkhonto weSizwe called Mkhonto weSizwe Interreligious Movement, whose leadership is still going to be fully appointed Representative Bishop Zondor of all provinces, gender balance and all faiths. We want to also acknowledge abelaphi bendabuko. They constitute a very important component of Mkhonto weSizwe, the leadership of the zones and sub-regions, the leadership of regions, the provincial detachment of Gauteng province, and want to congratulate upfront the leadership of Gauteng for having organized this birthday celebration of President Zuma here in Gauteng with very little, if no resources. So that is a demonstration of leadership that knows what it is doing. We also want to acknowledge the servants from the African Transformation Movement, the ATM, which is our strategic ally. So if you want to know what is the relationship between the MK and ATM, you must just understand the simple fact that when the ballot is printed in 2026 and 2029, ourselves, Mkhonto weSizwe, and all members and supporters of ATM, so vote ndawonye. That is the strategic alliance and unification of all the progressive forces that we're taking. But most importantly, comrades, want to greet and acknowledge the ground forces of Mkhonto weSizwe, who are the lifeblood of this organization. We are not going to have an organization without active ground forces that do work of the movement, and want to greet the people of South Africa who have joined us through different models. Specifically acknowledge Professor Sipho Siep. All provinces today, the 12th of April, which is the birth date of President Jacob Zuma, we have got programs and different speakers and activities that are beginning to speak about the life and times, the revolutionary contributions of President Jacob Zuma. For many years, as a revolutionary, as a freedom fighter, even as a head of state and government, there have been so many reactionary and counter-narratives that wanted to portray President Zuma as incapable, as not knowing what he is doing. And the reason why such was sustained over a long period of time is because President Zuma has never been a project of the white capitalist minority system. There is not a single handler under apartheid, post-apartheid, even when President Zuma was in prison. There is not a single handler who can say that they handled President Zuma and they told them or told him what to do. So all provinces are countering the narrative that seeks to denigrate, that seeks to erode the contribution of President Zuma in the struggles against apartheid colonialism and in the struggle for total emancipation. Comrades, some of us, just in the recent past, are very fortunate to work very closely with President Zuma. Although there is history which we can talk about elsewhere, but one thing that we can confirm, 5 features that define President Zuma, is that one, he is a humble servant of the people. And that is what makes him great. There is no one who can ever rise to greatness unless they are humble. President Zuma is the most humble of leaders. And you see on how he interacts with everyone. Wherever he is, he talks with everyone irrespective of social standing, irrespective of age, irrespective of class, irrespective of religious affiliation, irrespective of whether that person has got money or not. President Zuma listens to each and every person that speaks to him with maximum respect. That is a demonstration of humility of President Zuma. Number 2 is that President Zuma is highly knowledgeable. You know, President Zuma is one of the most knowledgeable political leaders. There are so many people who have gone to schools and received certificates who even now do not even have a quarter of the knowledge that President Zuma has about the issues that affect our people. Also about what is happening in the continent. Also about what is happening in the world. He has got a far much better understanding of the global balance of forces than many other people who play a role in those spaces. But also President Zuma is very decisive. He takes decisions when he realizes that this is a wrong thing, when he realizes that this is not legitimate, it's not genuine, he takes decisions. He doesn't wait for tomorrow. He takes decisions on things that have to protect the interest of the people. The other aspect that defines our president is that he is a revolutionary through and through. He does not sacrifice principle on the altar of political convenience. He doesn't shift because he is speaking to someone else. He is very consistent on revolutionary principles. He is The most consistent, number 5, he is the most consistent defender of the Freedom Charter. Not just the defender of the Freedom Charter, but also did everything else in his power, even as head of state and president, to achieve the aims and objectives of the Freedom Charter. Part of the reasons why President Zuma started Umkhonto weSizwe is because he knew that those who are leading the former liberation movement, the African National Congress, have abandoned the Freedom Charter and will not take the road of defending the Freedom Charter. Some of us were fortunate in October 2023 to get a political presentation and discussion on why Umkhonto weSizwe as a party must be formed to represent majority of our people. In that discussion, President Zuma highlighted 2 most important things. One, he spoke about unity of the progressive forces and illustrated a simple fact that for many centuries now, for many decades, we as black people, the African majority, the people who look like me and you, have been under a system of colonial conquest. Whatever you can wish, even if you can listen to a motivational speaker or read motivational books that says that I'm not conquered, all the material conditions and illustrations about us black people here in South Africa is that we are still a conquered and defeated people. That is shown by a simple fact that we do not own our own land. Majority of the land is still in the hands and control of the colonial invaders, the colonial settlers, and their descendants. We are not in control of our own identity